Show, and I'm super excited to present to you today a wonderful friend, a colleague, an amazing man, Robert Jones, who's an entrepreneur, a TEDx panelist. He's a master connector, best-selling author. He actually has publications at the Library of Congress. Super cool. Robert hosts the iNETrepreneur radio show. He moderates the iNet Real Estate and Professional Development Academies. He publishes the iNETrepreneur magazine and is the thought leader behind the Art of Connections 365-degree movement. Robert provides a low-cost, high-impact way for entrepreneurs, business owners, and influencers to be seen, heard, and create additional income. Welcome, Robert.
Jill, thank you so much for having me here. After you state all those things, I'm looking around to see who is that for real. So I appreciate that. I'm in your presence. You're the rock star. I just would love to just make magic with you. So thank you for that.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Well, you do make magic, and I know, we've had the pleasure of knowing each other many years. And I know you have this interesting background in computing and marketing technologies. Really, what got you involved with networking?
It's really something where I do have to step back a little bit. I was really very shy as a child, and I had to come over quite a bit of shyness. And so part of that was doing theatrical and sports activities. But what I really liked was computer programming and coding, of all things. And so I worked for a lot of, very large companies that you may know. And I have no problem saying GoDaddy, Intuit, Realtor.com. So when people think about my background and they think, well, why did he get into networking? It was kind of forced on me originally when I was living in San Diego. It was like, well, Robert, you have to put yourself out there to get out there. And if you get out there, more people are going to understand who you are, and you're going to create some awareness. But Jill, at that time, I really didn't care too much about that. Isn't that crazy?
Understandable.
And I didn't really see the power of networking, because I always thought of networking as a bad thing. But what I found is it's not that networking is bad, it's bad networking is bad. That when you network right, it can be really a force of nature. And I found that out when I sold half my business in San Diego and I moved to Arizona to start my real estate career. I found, oh my goodness, real estate is really all about people. It's not about zeros and ones and computing. So I better start getting out there and networking.
I love that. So, I would love you to just share with us some great tips on networking. What do you think makes a great networker?
Well, I think it starts sometimes. I ask a question sometimes: can we learn things from our kids? Can we learn things from children? And I remember one day I thought so much about networking. I was going to ask this one simple question. And that one simple question is what's the most powerful tool a networker could bring into a room? And Jill, I had so many answers. I had, dress for success, have your 30-second intro commercial ready, bring lots of business cards, create flyers, have an irresistible author. And then there was this one hand out there, Jill, that kept raising up. And my son was 9 years old at the time. And I didn't want to answer on him, because you never know what the mouths of babes are going to say. And I was like, but I could feel that everyone in the room, there's about 35, 40 people in there, they were wanting me to ask. And so finally I said, Troy, what is the most powerful tool a networker could bring into a room? And he stood up and, he got this puffed out his chest, and he was so excited. And he said, a smile. And I said, Troy, I wanted to elaborate on that. And I said, well, why is it a smile? And he said, Dad, because who wants to come to someone who's just frumpy and grumpy? And it really made an effect on everyone in that room and myself. And I really thought to myself, attitude is really the altitude. You can have all the information in the world, but if you're not memorable in kindness, people will probably avoid you, than be attracted to you. So that would probably be my number one tip in networking, is always show up with a definite purpose and with a smile.
Oh, so beautiful. And I love the fact that you were trying to avoid your own son, and he's the one who actually came up with the most important and yet seemingly simple, but it isn't. like attitude, right? I love that. Your attitude is your altitude. Love that. And so I know you have an amazing networking organization that I'm blessed to be part of, to speak at your conferences, and
Mhm.
you've been bringing people together for many years,
Thank
creating
you.
dynamic relationships. What's one of the best stories? Can you tell me a good fun networking story that you're proud of?
I think one of the proudest moments that I've ever had is I was raised by a single mom. My mother, she had her PhD in curriculum and instruction. She always said, embrace diversity, but works towards unity. And another thing that she always told me was, it's not a man thing, it's not a woman thing. And as soon as we all understand that, the sooner we can all move forward with velocity. And I remember I was at a networking event and I was getting to speak, and this gal comes up to me, and I'd known her for a while, and I really hadn't had a conversation with her. And she said, Robert, come here, come here. And she must have been like 4 foot, 9 or something. She's like, come here, come here, come here. I want to tell you something. I want to tell you something. And I said, yeah, sure. Tell me, what is it? She said, I want you to know that your organization is the first organization that I've been in the 45 years of being an entrepreneur where I feel that a woman is equal to a man. I just got chills just saying that right now, Jill. And that was about 7 years ago. And I remember when she told me that, it had an indelible effect on me that I am doing the right thing, that it is a people thing. It's not a man or a woman thing. And I keep that to this day.
Oh, that is powerful. I thought she was going to tell you, you had spinach in your teeth, or which, by the way, is also very helpful.
Yes. By the way, I was thinking it too because it was at a restaurant as well. So I was really wondering there, especially because she was so covert about it. Come here, come here.
And obviously, it was in her heart to
Yeah,
really share that with you. So when
absolutely.
people go to a networking event, and of course now we're doing them on Zoom, we're doing them in
Mhm.
person. Besides a great smile, what do you think makes a great introduction?
You know, for me, knowing the person, attempting to know who they are. When I introduce a person and when I talk with my members, I always say before a person wants to know your how and your what, they want to know your who and your why. And if you can create an introduction that has someone's who and their why in it before you say what they do, it makes for an incredible introduction.
Oh, that's powerful. I love that. I love that. Well, and I know you work with your wife, which is
Mhm.
super great, and she's so brilliant. And then how many people are in your organization these days?
We now have 1,500 members in 12 countries and 25 states.
Hmm.
And I think with our next Art of Connection Summit coming out, we'll probably increase into more countries and more states. And we're growing at a reasonable rate. And one of the things I always look at, it's not just about growing necessarily fast. It's actually, it's more about growing, properly. And that's one thing we want to do. It's creating a spirit within our organization that everyone carries collectively together, because if we're all lights and we all shine them in the same direction, we create a greater brightness together.
Hmm. Well, one thing I know, and this does come from top down, Robert, is that the people in your organization are very heartfelt. The people I met through networking, they really do care about each other, about their business, come from that place. And I think you, as the leader, provides that at the top, right? But let's just say people are in a room, or whether it's a Zoom room
Mhm.
or a live room. Um, Really, how can they be that light that you speak of? What would you recommend? Just let's just say normal everyday people who maybe are even afraid, maybe even introverted. What would you recommend? How can they be their best?
You know, I always say being your best means showing up. And when you show up, you can glow up and you can blow up. Even if you're the most introverted person in the room, what I love about a Zoom screen, even more than, let's say, being in a live audience, is if you fill the screen like we are together here, you fill the screen and you give that eye contact and you have subtle movement, it shows that you're engaged and it shows that you are willing to participate, you're willing to listen, and you're willing to connect with someone, no matter what fear you may have inside. And that's what I love about being on a Zoom, is it is a great equalizer for those entrepreneurs who really just may not be that, that adept at personal relationships in person.
Well, and I love the fact that, the truth is you weren't really that kind of person. You weren't gregarious. You were, you technical. You were, as you say, forced into it. And I love the fact that now you lead others and amazing things that you're doing. Can I just ask you what you're most proud of in this moment?
I would say that I'm most proud of in this moment that people are starting to become really aware of the gift of what community is. And why I say that is so many times we hear these words, Jill. We hear gift, we hear community, we hear being authentic, we hear being holistic. But it's one thing to say those words, but it truly is a different, feeling, when you're embracing all those things. you know um you know I heard once, can kindness be learned? Can happiness be practiced? Can giving be habit? And I would say absolutely, but it also starts by having wonderful people in your life teaching the right things, and creating an inspiration for others to follow.
Well, you are certainly an inspiration, and
Thank
I
you.
thank you for your work. And I know other people are going to want to be part of what you do, and especially now virtually, you have an opportunity for all of my listeners to come in and be part of your community. Will you tell us how people can keep in touch with you and what your special gift is?
Well, absolutely. Everyone can keep in touch with me by, Robert. Just my email is robert@networktogether.net. I still kept my old company name, Jill, robert@networktogether.net, because everyone knows me as that. Or they can. LinkedIn is a really good place to find me. Just type in Robert W. Jones and Network Together. They can find me there. Or they can also go to one of our iNETrepreneur websites. Now, the problem with that is I need to have a short link for that because people can't spell it. So if you go to networktogether.net, go ahead and click in there, and you can find the rest of the websites and emails that you can find me at. Um, you know, what I was really excited about, and because I like giving too, and you know, we've talked about Bob Berg, we've talked about the Go Giver, which I love, and I really thought about it because when you requested, hey Robert, what is a gift? And I thought, you know, the gift goes back to the community, and when it comes to networking, the product are the people, because people ask me, what is networking? I say, well, it's not digital marketing, it's not getting on radio shows. When you come to networking, the product are the people. And so my gift, my evergreen gift to all of your wonderful audience, Jill, is if they text kindness, to 602-228-0907. Again, that's 602-228-0907. Text kindness to that. They will get a free ticket or a complimentary ticket to our next and any Art of Connection summit that we have. And those tickets are worth $197 each, folks. So it's a great way to become introduced to the community. It's a great way to connect. And really, it's a great way to support Jill, because she likes breeding her tribe there as well.
Well, you are incredibly kind. I know what a great value that is. We'll make sure to also repeat that in the show notes so that all of you can make sure that you show up at one of their events because they are phenomenal, as is Robert Jones. And Robert, I thank you for being here today.
Jill, thank you so much for being here. You're always a treasure, and it is my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. And everybody, we'll see you next time. Please, hey, go check out jilllublin.com. Let's see how we can help you get your message out there and create more visibility because your message matters. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.